Welcome to the Kortex Media Podcast, Marketing Accelerator, your compass for navigating the dynamic world of marketing and business growth. I'm Korson Schmidt, founder of Kortex Media. Our mission is to equip marketing agencies with the custom growth solutions they need to unlock massive revenue increases and scale their business. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. Today, we're joined by a leader whose career is defined by global adoption and award-winning creative storytelling, Alberto Chumaceiro, General Manager of Fenix Media. He has over 25 years of experience co-founding the agency right out of college with two of his best friends. With a master's in TV formats and directing, Alberto has led Fenix to winning multiple international awards, including a People's Webby Award, and even producing a documentary selected for the National Baseball Hall of Fame. Adding to his expertise, Alberto currently serves as president of FIVAP, the Venezuelan Federation of Advertising Activity, giving him a broad perspective on regional industry struggles and future trends. Alberto, welcome to the show.
Hi, Korson. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for the invitation.
No worries. I'm excited to get into this one, Alberto, and I'm not going to try to pronounce your last name again. I got that on take 3, so we're going to use that one. So at the beginning
You
of
did
your...
great. You did great. You got it real quick. It's
Perfect.
a difficult one. It's Portuguese, so
It is a difficult one. I'm
yeah.
not super up on my Spanish, but something I'm working on. So, I mean, I'll get there. Don't worry. So
Don't worry. I can give you some lessons. We do a podcast in Spanish then
yeah,
later
perfect.
afterwards.
Perfect. That sounds great. So Alberto, at the beginning of your journey, you co-founded Fenix right out of college, with two of your best friends with a mission of storytelling into corporate videos. Now, do you mind telling us who Fenix is today? What are your core services and what do you guys offer today? Just so the audience can get to know you and get to know the agency.
Well, we started as a production house, really. We focus mainly on audiovisual production, but nowadays we're more like a creative boutique agency. We offer digital marketing. We offer graphic design. We still do a lot of videos. That's like our main calling card. But we expanded specifically because some of our clients wanted us to work with them in different projects that required other areas. So we started incorporating them naturally. And nowadays we're like more like a creative boutique agency that does video and everything regarding strategy and digital marketing and AI. So we do a little bit of everything, but always specialize as a small creative boutique. We like to have like that special bond with our clients.
Okay, amazing.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. I love how you guys kind of expanded just from your clients asking for different services and you guys learning. And honestly, it's the best way to do it because your client then has your trust and you guys get to learn. I mean, you get to learn on their dollar, but they trust you enough that you will get them results in what they're looking for. So I love that transition that you guys made. So speaking of your services today, do you mind taking us or sharing a story on how you guys have helped one of your specific clients with Fenix Media Services and help them get to the goal they were looking for through your relationship and your partnership?
Yeah, we have a very relevant case, which was during the pandemic. We worked a lot with Univision, which is the Spanish language channel in the US. And during the pandemic, it was a very eventful year. You had the pandemic, you had like elections in the US, the 2020 elections, and you had also the census. So they had all these grants and they needed to do a lot of content, you know, doing different campaigns for these three main events that were happening in the same year. And basically, our contact, our client was called Webby, and she was a great partner in Univision. And she called me up and she said, I don't know how we're going to do this, but I have like produce over 150 videos. We're in the middle of a pandemic, and I have like this whole program that needed to last from March until the end of the year. So basically, we help them a lot We started doing Facebook Lives. We did all the productions, for all the live shows, or most of the live shows that they were doing, and all the interviews with experts. And we started doing a lot of animation. One of our main services here in the agency is animation. We do all sorts of animation, 2D, 3D. But basically, we needed to do a lot of explainers, regarding the pandemic. There was a lot of information being shared, and a lot of fake news as well regarding the pandemic. And by the end of the year, we produced something like over 225 animated videos for the different campaigns, and it was very successful. And we had to do it in a with a quick turnaround time, because it was news. So it's not like a traditional campaign where you have like probably a few months to prepare. No, you needed to do it like, uh, in 2 to 3 weeks, and it was always ongoing, because you sent in a video, and then they needed the next one, for a different topic or a different reason. So we had to juggle those three campaigns, and throughout the year. But we created animated characters. Some of the things that we were doing in the videos, then we had to adapt to post and social media content, or for graphics and PowerPoint presentations, that they were doing a lot of workshops. So it was a really challenging year. And while everybody was at home, stuck at home, I think it was one of our busiest years in the company. Certainly one of the most prolific as well. So that was one of the cases where we became like a central agency during that year, to help our client reach their expectations, and kind of outsource some of the needs they had, because they had the internal crew, but they were all so focused on the news division and everything that was happening at the time, that they needed a partner that could help them with the creative side, and doing all this content this was all for the digital news division.
Wow, that's amazing. Especially because you guys were you said one of the busiest years you guys have had was in the pandemic, and that's when
Yeah.
no one was really busy. I mean, other than maybe golf courses, but um, it's it was such a hard time for a lot of businesses. So for you guys to be able to take that initiative, help out this company with their campaigns, and you guys grow as a company, build your knowledge, and go through a tough project like that, that's truly amazing. So thank you for sharing that, and sharing kind of more about what you guys do.
You know what one of the big I think one of the things we learned from that experience is not to have fear, because it was such a big scope that sometimes we see some, I don't know, projects that maybe they scare you a little bit, when you're going into them. And I always try to remember the pandemic. If we were able to do this in the middle of a pandemic, to produce over 220 animated videos, throughout the three campaigns, so it gives you perspective. So it kind of moves you, pushes you to keep growing and to keep going forward, because that was a real challenge, and we got through it. So that
Yeah,
that helps me to keep focused
yeah,
with other
definitely.
projects.
Yeah, if you guys can do what you said you did 250 videos in the time from March until the end of the year. That's a lot of
Hmm.
video. That's a lot of filming. That's a lot of directing. It's a lot of everything. So if you guys can accomplish that, you guys can pretty much accomplish anything. And it actually leads me to one of the things that um, I think a lot of business owners need to run their business off of, is more of a morale, and it's don't worry about the issues until you encounter them. Like you can think about in the future and be like, hey, if I sign this deal, I have no clue how I'm going to get it across. I have no clue how I'm going to accomplish it. Or maybe even your campaign, it's like, oh, I don't know if it's going to work or not. You don't know until you're there. So don't worry about it until you hit that destination. Because right now, I mean, you're in the present and you're worrying about what is going on today. Worry about what's going on today, not worrying about what's happening maybe 2 months from now or a week from now, because it's not
And
relevant right now.
yeah, what I always say is that the best thing, if you look at the monster, like the big pictures, like you're never gonna start going. You need to start seeing the smaller picture, the steps I can take today to make it a reality. And once you're in the middle of it, I think everything kinds of falls into place. I mean, some things are going to change. Probably some things are not going to work the way you were hoping it to be. But even some of the deadlines sometimes change. You know, if at the beginning they say like, okay, you have one month to develop this project, but once you're in the middle, the client says, okay, you know what? We need more time to get this right. So everything starts to take its course. So I think the best way to get into it is as you said, just start doing it and get a great team and start seeing like the steps that you can take today. And if you do it well, you're gonna have a great foundation moving forward. So I'm a firm believer in that, because if you look at the end result and the whole task, it's always intimidating. So that's not a good feeling to have. It's not constructive. It's not something that's going to help you, start doing things.
Yeah. Well, it takes me back to every entrepreneur had to make that decision to start their own business, which is the toughest decision, right? That a lot of
It
people
is.
think about that and they never take the step to start their own business or continue on a journey that they've always dreamed of. So if you can make that leap into starting your own business, taking a step away from, even if you're working still your corporate job, but just taking that step to take on more work, take on more tasks, and become your own CEO and an entrepreneur. That's the hardest step you can take, and all these other projects, I mean, you'll figure it out because you already took the biggest, hardest step, and you know that you can accomplish it. And that's the other thing, is the mindset. You need to be able to know that you are okay and you will accomplish it, and not worry about something you can't control in the future. Worry about what you can control today, into the future, leading into the results. And I love how you broke it down into smaller steps, because I love everything you just said there. Because if you have a roadmap, you need it, and you have a destination, or sorry, if you have a destination you want to be, and you don't have a roadmap, as for example, you haven't broke down the steps on how you want to get there, you're going to be quite lost throughout that journey. But if you have if you have a destination you want to be to, and you have a map on how to get there, navigate your way, it's a lot easier to get to that destination without getting lost. So, just to expand on your point there, that's a huge aspect to accomplishing goals in life, accomplishing goals in a business, and just growing yourself as an individual and an entrepreneur. So I love that you brought that up. That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer in that as well. It's and as you said, like the biggest decision you already took. So just you need to believe in yourself. That same trust you had when you started your business, you can never lose sight of that, because you're gonna need it throughout. Because it's never like a straightforward path. It's always challenging. Customers change, things change, technology changes, and our whole industry is changing right now. So if you're not flexible enough, uh, you're gonna get lost. So I think that's one of the core beliefs that you always need to keep close. The same when you start a business or your own business, it's because you believe you could bring something new to the table, a different perspective, a different way to do things, and I think that's the most valuable asset that we have, and that's our North Star,
Yeah,
and that's the
no,
thing that's gonna take you through it.
for sure. That's amazing. Now, you spoke about making shifts, making pivots in that last part there. And as entrepreneurs, we're always making shifts, making pivots. And now with this industry, I mean, the industry is totally different than it was even 5 years ago. Even last
Hmm.
year, it's changed so much with the adoption of AI and everything in general. What are some of the most significant shifts or trends you're seeing within the marketing industry today? I know you work in two different markets, Venezuelan and the US market.
Hmm.
Let's talk about the US market. What are some of the biggest shifts you're seeing in the US market today at this moment?
Well, I think like teams are getting smaller, and budgets are getting smaller as well. So, with the adoption of AI, there's like this conception that everything is done automatically, and that's just the
Yes.
case. At the end, those are tools that you can use to get great results, but you need to have, that that basic good idea, that's going to carry through any campaign, whether if it's done with AI or doing by humans, or even if it's done by AI, you need, creative minds behind that, because there's a lot of trial and error, and people don't realize that. They see the finished product, and they think it's just a prompt, and it came out automatically. So I think that is a big challenge right now, regarding timelines and budgets, and people not losing focus, that you need to have creativity. That I'm a firm believer that creativity is what drives our industry, and we cannot lose sight of that. There are a lot of trends when you see social media. There's a lot of trends, and we can jump into them, and they're going to have, like, a great result for a few days or a few weeks. But if you have one great idea, you can do a lot of impact for your client, for, with your campaign. And I just hope we don't lose sight of that. But one of the main aspects is regarding the size of the teams that you're using, and the budgets the clients have, and especially, timelines. Sometimes clients don't give you enough time to develop an idea correctly. If you're always, running to get to a deadline, I think sometimes we lose sight of the idea, because we're always like running and trying to get, to something that's trending, or something that needs to be done by a specific deadline, and you don't have, like, enough time to develop. That's one. And the other thing is that technology and information is, everything's changing so quickly. It's hard to keep up to date.
Yeah.
A few years ago, you did a online course, or you did you could get some resources. Even, you could try to work with some tool. But nowadays, like, every 2 months, like, a new AI tool arrives, and you need to, like, start all over again. And maybe you had, like, a suite going, but then there's something revolutionary, revolutionary that comes along, and then you need to get into that, because that's what's going to help you the most. So everything is changing so fast that I feel sometimes it's hard to keep up to date. And I think that's kind of like the two main challenges that we have today, regarding, at
Definitely.
least, technology. I don't know how you see it, if you see it as well, or if it's something, or if there's another thing going on there. But basically, that's what worries me, that you need to be, like, ready, and sometimes there's not enough time to to get
Yeah.
everything done, and to keep up to date.
Yeah. I want to go back to that first point you made, and that was that a lot of budgets are shrinking because they think AI is doing everything.
Hmm.
And it's a huge misconception in the industry from the client to agency world, because at the end of the day, they don't want us to use AI for full campaigns, but AI could save us a lot of time, which is in the end game saving them a lot of money. So they just need to understand how agencies are using AI in the proper way, as a proper tool as well. Like, we don't want, at the end of the day, we don't want AI making everything, because it's not going to be up to date. It's not going to be very creative. Like you said, you need to have very creative
Hmm.
minds. It's not going to be very creative, and it's not going to really resonate with the ICP, the ideal customer profile for your client in general, which takes a lot of willpower. But the AI can be a great tool to brainstorm, to ask ideas, or get
Hmm.
opinions on stuff. But a lot of these companies need to understand the agency they're speaking with, the agency they're working with, and understand that they are committed to the goals of their client. Because, I mean, we don't want, us agency owners out there don't want clients coming to us thinking that we're just doing everything with AI. We're only spending 2 hours a day and giving them terrible work. Like, at the end of the day, we're using it to save us time, which is focusing more on the creative sides. Depending on what you're doing for your client, you're actually saving them time, giving it more time to focus on their actual campaign and their creative in general. So there's a huge gap between solely AI and using it as a tool to really benefit your client. I think that's one gap where a lot of education needs to come in, but it's also because a lot of people are scared of AI at the same time. I mean, it's been
Yeah,
around for so long, but a
mhm.
lot of people are still scared of the tools.
I think that conversation now is pointless because it exists. It's already here. It's already out. So
Yeah,
you need to be on the next page, and the next page is how am I going to use it, what are the guidelines, and
yeah,
and I think that's a great conversation to have, for clients, for agencies. And as you said, I mean, the idea is not that you put a prompt and that the AI does everything for you. That's not what we're striving for, but it does help, to for research, for to do some parts of the job. Especially, we do a lot of video for translating, for subtitling. It helps and saves a lot of time.
yeah,
That it's better to have the focus on creative ideas, on the design, on the script, on everything that's gonna be kind of like the soul, than to have them in manual tasks that take time. And at the end, it's just something that you can do it with perfectly with AI. It's not gonna do. It's
exactly.
not gonna be a big issue. So I think that helps a lot if you integrate them into your processes, and which tools can help you uh, do the different things that we do as
Yeah,
agencies. But I do agree that clients need to understand the tools and understand the technology, so they can understand our role as as users of those tools, and how can it save money, and how can we help them be creative using those tools. So
yeah,
but I think fear is just, it should be out of the table right now. It's here. And how's the best way that you can use it to get great results for your company and for your client.
yeah. No, that's a great point. And I mean, it's out there. They're tools. A lot of them are free. So why not go out there, use them, save some time, and just try them. I bet you every single person that comes to an agency and thinks they're doing everything with AI, making all their campaigns with AI, they're still using ChatGPT in the background to send, I mean, maybe create emails or etc., right? So, I mean,
Yeah.
everyone's using it and they need to understand a little bit more on how we're using it and the approach we're going about with it. And that will be educated over time. Um, but I mean, if they really wanted someone just to use AI, they could go do it themselves as well and just like go throw prompts in ChatGPT and see what they get, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's always an option if that's what they think they're signing up for.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
you're paying for the expertise of the individual who's giving you that work. Whether it's done with AI, whether it's not, it's all about the quality of that work and how much it's going to
Hmm.
resonate with their clients because that's what they hire us for is for their marketing. If depending on what you're doing, or for their advertising, or for their videos, for example, for you guys. I mean, you guys could take AI. I don't know how well it is with videos right now, but you guys could take AI and make a video, but it's probably not going to resonate as well as you guys would make in house. So I mean, it's all about the
Yeah,
quality you're paying for.
we do it. We use it a lot in our processes. For example, to get some storyboards going. If you need to start visualizing some characters before you animate a piece. Even in some cases in post production, besides subtitling and everything, we do a lot of voiceover work. We needed to do some translations, a video that was done in Spanish here for Venezuela. They needed to do it in English for the U.S. market and for the company. They have operations as well in the United States, and we use a voice cloner. So it was like the same pitch, the same voice. It was as if the person was speaking in their own language, and we save a lot of time and a lot of money, and it felt more natural because it wasn't a voiceover actor that was dubbing. No, it was their voice cloner. and
Yeah.
and I think those kinds of tools can achieve, if you use them properly, can help save a lot of time, a lot of
Yes.
effort, and can resonate with audiences. So
Yeah.
uh, as I said, you need to use them as tools. If you don't, if it's not that AI is going to substitute people. I don't agree with that. I think creativity comes, it's not only from a huge database trying to replicate everything that it sees. I think that's very human. It's a human perspective. And if you keep that as your guiding star, I think everything else is just going to be a tool to help you achieve that. And if we don't lose sight of that, I think everything's going to work out okay. And listen, as we've been through these discussions before. I mean, before TV we had radio, and before radio we have books and printing, and even today with all this technology, and we still have radio, we still have streaming, we still have television. It's just something that's going to be there. It's like when we have when even the way we edit today, the way we do illustrations, we do it with tools that weren't available 30 years ago, and we use them nowadays, and there's like not a big issue about it. So I just think, since it's so new, we're still there in that discussion, but we need to not lose sight that they're going to that they are tools at the end of the day that are going to help us achieve a great idea. Hopefully, that's what it's all about. To
Yeah.
have a great idea that can help your client sell more, or if it's a product, or if it's a service, or achieve a goal that they have, a communication goal or whatever. So
Yeah.
I think we just need to focus there.
Yeah, for sure. That summed everything up that I wanted to say, and that's perfect. So, I just wanted to bring up FEVAP because, I mean, you're the president of FEVAP. You have a regional view on the Venezuelan market. You guys also work with the U.S. market at the same time. Now, I just want to touch on this for a little bit. What are some of the biggest differences between the two markets? I know Venezuela's kind of going through some stuff at the moment, but what's the biggest difference between the two markets, trying to navigate the two different landscapes? And how has, I don't want to ask another question, so I'll stick with that. And how do you like the landscape of being part of the team, having that community behind you in FEVAP, and having other experienced individuals and experts in the space there to chat with, part of the FEVAP team?
Yeah, I mean, FIBAP for me has been something that's been very rewarding. I've been a part of it for over a decade, and I became president last year in 2024, and I've gotten a lot of experience. You get to meet a lot of people, and here at the market is very difficult. Venezuela has been going through a lot of challenges since the past decade or even longer, and the market has shrunk a lot. We used to be a big reference in the region, but other countries nowadays occupy our place. You have a case like Colombia, which is a similar market, a similar cultural space, like like ours, but it's more of a reference nowadays in the region than Venezuela. So in FEBAP, you get to meet people that, as yourself, are business owners, that they work in the industry, and you get to share the information regarding how everybody's facing the same issues. So it becomes a place where you can start working for solutions. I mean, we can't spend more years waiting for things to happen. That happened a lot here in our market. You were trying to get a project running, and the client was like, well, let's see what happens politically or economically, and life goes by, and things don't change, and you're not going to stop your business just because you're waiting for an election or waiting for something to happen. So I think we've learned our lesson, and for our for us here in Venezuela, the last year in 2025, we have a great creative resurgence. We started going back to Cannes Lions. We are the Cannes Lions reps in Venezuela, and for 11 years we just kind of stood there, and we did nothing. We when, it was not affordable to go to the festival, so everybody lost sight of what the rest of the world is doing, what those markets are, like the US or Europe, or even Latin America, are doing marketing wise and advertising wise. So we started going back to the the festival this year. We started organizing uh, the local Young Lions competitions here to get everybody excited as well. The young professionals, people are starting to enter the industry, or that are just finishing university. They didn't have anything like this before. They were so hungry for this kind of opportunity, for this kind of context and information, that I think we are making a difference. Uh, you asked something that at the beginning, that I think is relevant. The difference between the U.S. market and Venezuela. I think nowadays Venezuela is like the difference between the rest of the world and Venezuela, because we have so many economic challenges now, right now, and political challenge, that it's like uh, it's difficult for us to map something longer than 3 months, because nobody knows how's the country going to be economically. So that's a big challenge, but at the same time, it has become a kind of a superpower for us, because we adapt easily, and we try to stay relevant, stay alive, and stay moving, even through all those adversities. So I think that's something that, when we go to ads, for example, it's not just to get a sense of what the rest of the world is doing. I think we have a lot of things to give to, and there's a lot of cases that are very relevant, that are being done in Venezuela under very harsh conditions, that are worth sharing with the world. So I think it's a space that goes both ways. So we're starting to realize that, as a country, as a creative community here back in Venezuela, and for the first time in a lot of time, uh, I think there's like a movement of people wanting to get more, and to show their projects, and to go out there and see what other agencies and other countries are doing. So I think that's basically the the main difference. Everything here, the economy has shrunk a lot, so we tend to work on tighter budgets, on mainly digital media. I mean, there's not a lot of advertising being done in traditional media, because it's expensive. Of course, we do it, but most of the clients or entrepreneurs, they just try to focus on digital. So there's a lot of space and things that can really be done, if you set your mind to it, and if we work hard to bring what the rest of the world is doing to our market here in Venezuela. I don't know if that answers your question, but
No, it's great.
to summarize it, it's regarding the challenges. I think we are in a year where we are finally understanding that we need to keep forward, and that we are very resilient, and perhaps the world can learn a little bit of that as well from us, from
No,
our market.
there's one point you said there that really resonated with me, and that's that you guys have stuck with the Venezuelan market. You're adapting with it. You're making changes with the market because no one really knows where it goes, and that's what makes an agency so strong. I mean, you guys are smaller, so it's easier for you guys to make pivots, but for you guys to stick with Venezuela, your guys' home country, where a lot of your clients are, and continue building with the community, with the country, and being part of FEVAP, and just helping the country itself build into what it could be, and not letting go, and just sticking with it is truly amazing. And back to the adaptability, being able to adapt to these challenges, to these trends, just makes you so much more lenient when you get into a big market like the United States, because it moves so much slower, right?
Mhm.
Being able to make those shifts as quick as you can within a market that is very unpredictable, and then moving into a market like the United States, where, I mean, it moves a lot slower. You guys are going to have the big advantage because you're going to see shifts coming before they actually come. So
Mhm.
that's an amazing aspect, and I love how you guys are always looking out for the community. Alberto, I do have to ask this question because I ask everyone this question on the podcast. Right now, for marketing agencies looking to scale their lead generation or their client acquisition, what seems to be the go-to for you guys today, and what seems to be working well today? Because, I mean, there's so many different directions you can go with marketing and lead generation. What seems to be
Mhm.
your guys' go-to?
for a lot of time, our best lead generation was word, word of mouth. We
Hmm.
started doing projects, and clients started recommending us internally or to friends or other brands that they knew, and for a lot of time, we had 22 years. This year we're reaching 22. We're reaching 22-year anniversary, but I think for the past, I don't know, 17 years, that worked a lot for us, and especially in the Venezuelan market. But once you
Hmm.
get to the US, and it's a whole different dynamic. It's not as who you know like it is in here in Venezuela, which is a smaller market. It's definitely something that we need to get into. I mean, we don't use any AI or a specific service. We tend to still do some outreach through LinkedIn or some social media platforms, but I do feel that uh, it's not enough. With the way the market is today. So we are definitely trying to explore other options, maybe doing things with companies that have maybe a lead generation program, or that implement some AI tools that could help us grow, especially in the US or in the international
Yeah,
market. Because the traditional market we do in social media or through our network, I think it's not going to be enough. Every day, new agencies are starting. I think it's easier nowadays to start your own business, especially if you get into, what we do. You can shoot things with your phone. You can do a lot of, with your computer. There's so many tools, as you said before, that can help you do this. That there is more competition. So I do think it's you can't rely only on your network to get those results. So
sure.
basically that's how we do it. But for a long time there, our work was spoke for itself, and people tend to reach out and contact us for projects.
Yeah, no,
That's how we build the company.
it's amazing. I mean, you look at marketing in general, word of mouth is definitely the go-to because you get trust from the other individual, and we're in a big trust recession within the agency world in the North American market, right? A lot of people don't trust other agencies because they don't know if they can get the results, or they've been screwed, or they've gotten scammed by another agency. So I mean, that's why word of mouth is so amazing, is because we're in such a trust recession, I guess you can
Hmm.
call it. um, but like you said, there's new agencies coming out every single day. There needs to be a differentiator within the North American market because it is very saturated, and that is a lot of the one of the biggest challenges a lot of creative marketing agencies are going through, and marketing agencies in general. Every business, I should say, every business in general is going through, because every business needs more clients, every business needs more customers, but at the end of the day, they everyone struggles to reach the right people, and and everyone wants to grow their business, so it's a big cycle, it's a vicious cycle, but it is
Especially,
one of the bigger issues
and,
in
and
the.
and especially as you said, reaching the decision makers, because you can have a contact, within a company, but maybe that's not the person that's going to help you close a deal. So, how do you reach the decision makers, the ones that are actually leading the campaigns, and hiring agencies, and opening these opportunities for work? So that's basically, I think where you need to focus. So and sometimes it's not as easy. So especially if you want to scale it, if you want a bigger operation, if you want more clients, uh, I do think nowadays it's something that that's needed, that has to be part of a plan so you can move forward.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
definitely there's something that we are trying to look into it to incorporate it into our marketing strategy.
Amazing. Now, you did talk about looking ahead there, so I want to touch on the goals for Fenix. What are some of the goals that you have for Fenix for the future? How bright is it for you guys? Where do you guys want to take Fenix in the coming future?
Well, as I said at the beginning, we were, when we started, we were more focused on video and animation, for the past 2 years, we're starting, expanding our services. We're doing a lot of digital marketing strategy. Those are things that are new to us, and basically we just want to run, those services and try to reach more clients. We were used to more of a project-based strategy. We did a lot of projects that maybe, you know uh, maybe they recur every year, but at the end of the day, something that it's like an in and out. You do the project and that's it. You do your estimate and you get paid. But we're trying to get some clients that are more based on fees, on
Hmm.
regular monthly fees, so that can help us as well with cash flow and with strengthening our team and basically that are more akin to a traditional marketing agency. So that's something that we're in the middle of right now. We have some great opportunities in the last a few months where people are starting to get that we're more than a video production company and are starting trusting us again. Not the clients that were working with us before because they already know us and it's easier there to maybe get those other services. But we're starting to branch out and see if we can get other clients in other areas and especially in other countries. I mean, besides the clients we have here in Venezuela or the ones that we have in the US, mainly we work in the Florida, in Florida. So we want to branch out something that's more nationwide, within the US. Maybe clients are in other states and or in other parts of the country. Even we have a client that's based in Spain. We used to have a client that was based in Mexico, so we're trying to explore even other markets that could help us grow and I think that's fun because the Venezuelan market is so challenging. It helps to have like you know some some projects based here in our local reality, but it helps to have an understanding of what's been done in the rest of the world. So if you do a project in the US or in Mexico or in Brazil or whatever it is, or in Spain, it helps us to keep things fresh, to keep that spark going, and that's something that we want to uh, encourage more here for us in Phoenix. So that's like the short term goal.
Okay,
Start repositioning ourselves as a creative boutique more than not just a video production company.
amazing. I love it. And it goes back to the conversation we had at the beginning of if you have a destination, you need to have the roadmap. And it sounds like you are building that roadmap right now, helping Fenix get to that destination of creative boutique agency that does a lot more than just your video advertising. So I love that for you, Alberto.
That
And
that's that's the plan.
yeah, that's awesome. Now, this is one of my favorite questions for young individuals wanting to get started in entrepreneurship and marketing in general. What is the best advice you can give them for them to take their first steps in this crazy industry we're a part of right now?
I think you need to be hungry. I mean, you need to want this opportunity. You need to if you have something to say, if you have a skill and you want to have your own business, I think there's a space for you here to create something that's truly yours and unique, and that can have your insight and your creative voice. But you need to be very you need to want it first, and then you need to be you need to have a lot of curiosity. No one is gonna hand anything to you. You need to learn it by yourself. You need to study a lot to see what tools there are. You need to, if you have a prospect, for a client, you need to understand the business they're in, the way it works. And for me, that's some of the fun aspects of our job because you get to learn a lot while you're studying, or if you're developing a campaign for a client, or you're starting a prospective industry or client that you want to get into. Uh, there's there's a little bit of homework there. I feel, and we have a lot of activities with students here or with young entrepreneurs through FEVA.
Hmm.
And the advice is always this. I mean, you need to go out there, and you need to get your superpower known. If you're a good illustrator and you want to, for example, create a, I don't know, a design studio, you need to do it, and you need to work hard for it. Sometimes I feel that people are expecting, everything to come their way. And I think if you go out there and reach for it, you're gonna have more success rather than waiting for things to happen, or starting a job. I think there's a lot of information right now. That's a good thing. You can get online. There's a lot of tools that can help you out. So I think the main challenge is overcoming, you know ourselves. If we want it and we work hard for it, you're gonna do I think you're gonna do great. And if you have a talent, I mean, our industry is very creative focused, very artistic. So if you have any talent, try to reach out to other people. This is not something that we do alone. I'm a firm believer that this is team based. You need to surround yourself with other great talents that can help you achieve something great. So if you have that in mind, and if you have that curiosity, I think they're gonna do great in
Yeah.
this business.
Yeah, that's amazing. And back to what you said, right? At the beginning, we said the biggest step to take is that first step. So, I mean, if they can understand that and continue on and then build a network of like-minded individuals and a community, like maybe get part of something like Phoenix that you're in, um,
Mhm.
and just build your knowledge base, build your network, it's all going to work out in the end because you have those people that are supporting you towards what you're trying to accomplish. So, Alberto, thank you so much for joining me on this conversation. It's been great, diving through kind of all the industry trends, diving through your experience, your knowledge, and Fenix itself. And I really appreciate you taking the time to join me today.
No, thank you, Corson. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for inviting me, and for having this conversation with me. So thanks to you guys for thinking about me. And well, I wish you great success with everything you're doing and with the podcast. So
Yes, thank you. I
best of
appreciate it.
luck there.
Yes, thank you. Much appreciated.